Well, hello YouTube. Today we are not in Philadelphia, as you can probably tell. We are in the Sierra Nevadas, the mountains around Lake Tahoe, in the Tahoe region. And today we're going to talk about the Native Americans who live around this, or who lived here for thousands of years. Now, the native tribe that lived in this area were the Washoe Indians. And the Washoe were one of the last people who were contacted in this area when the settlers came to California. If you know anything about Lake Tahoe geography, the geography of Lake Tahoe is very remote. So basically, when the settlers colonized California, first the Spanish and then American settlers went west, they completely skipped over tribes deep in the mountains. And around Lake Tahoe, the Washoe Indians were left uncontacted until around the 1840s, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite a windy day here. And we're getting to the peak of this climb. I'm with my friends and we're gonna have some good views. Before I show you the views from the top here, I'm gonna put in a quick photo that I took of a billboard, or sort of a museum display that's in the Truckee train station. Truckee is a town in around the Tahoe Lake area. And Truckee, the word Truckee comes from a Washoe word, true-ko, something like that, true-ki. And it means all right. So I really like that because my channel's name is Saul Good, and Truckee means all right. And in that train station, in the Truckee train station, there's a little display of the history of Truckee. And there's one panel about the Native Americans, just one. And one of the things that I noticed about the panel is that they give a quick blurb saying that before the settlers arrived here, the Washoe Indians lived here for many centuries. And I thought that was funny because it's like, try millennia, right? The Washoe Indians, they've been here for thousands of years. At least 6,000 years, but probably longer, probably at least 9,000 years, if not going all the way back to the Ice Age. So I thought it was funny that in the museum display here in Truckee, they said a couple centuries. So I'll put that in now. Well, it's maybe not the best photo ever, but if you zoom in, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, where they mention that the Washoe Indians here were here for centuries, which is a vast underestimate. I mean, orders of magnitude off, right? The Washoe Indians were here for thousands of years, before the Egyptians were a civilization. In Egypt, the Washoe Indians lived in Lake Tahoe. So I always track these things because I'm tickled by how it's a form of cultural erasure and historic erasure to get things wrong like that. Now my friends they've gone way up the trail. They're moving much faster than I am. I'm still dealing with a bit of ankle pain from my sprained ankle. So I'm moving a bit slower, but I'm doing the hike, and We're doing the Donner Summit. So this is a trail in the region where the Donner Party happened, the famous story of the Donner Party. And we decided to go to the summit of a place called Donner Peak. So you can see my friends all the way up there, and I'm gonna follow them slowly with my ankle. It's pretty windy. It's incredible to imagine that for thousands of years, the Washoe Indians lived in these valleys. Just imagine how rugged this landscape would have been. Living around Lake Tahoe, the Washoe Indians were very remote, as I mentioned, but this area was also at the nexus of several trade routes of different Indian tribes. And so the Washoe Indians, they made trade with a lot of different tribes who would spend the summers up in these hills. The Washoe Indians themselves, in the wintertime, they lived down in the valley where Reno is, and in the desert areas. And then in the summertime, they would come up into the Tahoe Lake area and go fishing in Tahoe Lake. And other tribes would do the same. And other tribes would bring goods from different parts of California and Nevada and come up to Lake Tahoe to spend the summer fishing in Lake Tahoe and make trade with the Washoe Indians in that area. Now, the Washoe themselves were famous basket weavers. They were famous for their basketry. And so they would trade baskets and other goods. And you can see in some of the museums around here, the baskets that the Washoe made. And maybe I'll put a few photos of Washoe baskets in right now. The ice. Whoa. Look at the way the snow bent the trees forward. So you were saying the Washoe Indians ate the pinyon pines?
Yeah, it's like by the Washoe Valley, so a little bit like south of Reno, Carson City Valley, and apparently they did this like collection of the piñons in the fall, let's say August, September, October, and then at some point at the end of the collection, they made like a huge festival about it.
Okay.
And according to this book, they actually had they invited other tribes, north, south, east, and west of where they were. But because they didn't have horses, they didn't have animals that they could use for transportation, they basically just chose a few of the teenagers that were in best shape and just told them, go tell the other people we're having the festival for the next few weeks.
Awesome.
The most skilled guys, they just like one run north, one run south, west, east, and they just like kind of spread the word like, hey, we're having a festival in the next few weeks, you're welcome to join.
I see. Interesting.
One of the sections though was about how they fought for the rights, like, sorry.
You did.
There was like a time, like 1900s, where like basically the federal government told the different Indian tribes around the US, like, okay, well, if you want some kind of reparation system, there's this like process you have to follow, and then there's gonna be like some organ in the federal government that will kind of like assign land or money reparation and stuff.
Right.
And the Washoes had some like, apparently one of the senators here in Nevada kind of was open to their cause, so it seems like they were able to like, woo,
They got some land and
yeah, but not that much, especially compared to, for example, the Paiutes in like the northern side of Reno. There's Pyramid Lake,
oh yeah.
and all that reservation they achieved to get that part as like Paiute reservation. So all
okay.
the surroundings of Pyramid Lake, which was their sacred lake, they achieved to be under their reservation. So it's all like controlled by the Paiutes.
Interesting. Did the
So that book, the last part of the book was very interesting. It talked about some of the signs of Washoe in Lake Tahoe. There is a rock in Lake Tahoe. It's called Cave Rock, but it has all these like internal cave system. And in the summer, the shamans from the Washoes came here to do some of the rituals.
wow.
So things like, oh, let's go for like winter, or like that. The piñon, would well fine, like just like all this stuff. Then what happened when like pioneers and everything came? They did all this road across Lake Tahoe and circumnavigates Lake Tahoe, and they like drilled.
Oh, they drilled through it?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
like two
man.
tunnels that just like go through the cave rock. And
Oh
this
my
massive rock
God.
that the Washoe consider sacred.
Oh, that's so sad.
So the Washoe fought for some kind of preservation of cave rock, because they basically argue this is sacred, this for us. So what they win in court was that rock system cannot be used for recreation. So it used to be a very popular spot for camping, because it's like awesome. It's by the lake, great views, great rocks, and everything. So they thought like, okay, there cannot be people getting into the caves, because that's where only the shamans were allowed to go. So not even like the rest of the population. Regular people couldn't get in. Only the shamans could do the rituals and get into the caves. And they did win that in court, and like no recreation is allowed in Cave Rock. Unfortunately, the tunnel, you can't undo the damage, but at least the small win was that they've allowed some kind of like preservation of that.
It's preserved, yeah. So there you go. Yet another story of Americans blasting through a sacred native site to create a highway. I hope you could hear what my friend Paul was saying. He told the story of the Washoe and a bit of their struggles. Next, I'm going to take you to another very important place in the landscape here. There are petroglyphs that the Washoe Indians made in ancient times, and we're going to go visit there next. Okay, here we are, sacred symbols from an ancient times. Here are what they look like. They're very faded, but they're on this rock here, and some down there. Let's see. Petroglyphs are fragile and irreplaceable. Help preserve them by following these guidelines. Walk around, not on them. Footsteps grind away the rock surface and destroy the images. Please don't take rubbings or tracings. Leave rocks, plants, artifacts where they lie. Please don't build campfires at petroglyph sites. Remove your trash. Thanks for respecting Mother Earth. There's one that looks like a snake, kind of. Here are carved with ancient symbols called petroglyphs. They were created by pecking the surface of the rock with a tool called a hammerstone. These petroglyphs are thought to be several thousand years old. Similar figures are found in many places in the northern Sierra Nevada, usually on gently sloping, granite-polished glaciers. Shapes such as circles, zigzags, and wavy lines are common. Human and animal forms such as stick figures and tracks are less common. Some sites contain only a single element, while others, such as this one, may contain hundreds of individual elements. No one knows what these symbols mean. Current studies suggest that petroglyphs are linked to the spiritual and ceremonial life of the people who created them. What do you think they mean? Ancient Washoe people, Washoe, created these petroglyphs. This pass is the main corridor for travel to and from Lake Tahoe, Do-Au-Au-Ga. Gathering places were numerous in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Trade of foods and arts and crafts, clothing materials, and other essentials took place in prominent places along the trail, preserving the past for the future. Do you have a spiritually significant place? This place was probably sacred for the people who created these figures. Please treat it with the same respect you would have for your own place of worship. So let's see if we can see the big one here. There's some very big spirals. I love spirals, so let's see if we can see them. Okay, I definitely see a spiral up there. It's pretty big. That's a cool one. And down here is one of these crosshatch patterns. Very faded. I think this one is what I'm looking for. I think it's up there, actually. I think it's all the way up there. Hard to say, but that's my best guess. I don't really see the spiral, though, so I'm not sure. It could also be somewhere here and just very faded. So there you go. These are some petroglyphs from thousands of years old. The Washoe Indians made them. We don't know what they mean, but if you have an idea, leave it in the comments. What do you think? That looks like a figure to me. Oh, there's some big spirals up there. Those are big spirals for sure.
Oh, here.
Probably this whole rock surface would have been covered in petroglyphs back in the day. Probably, but they've all faded. A lot of them have, except for those back there. Those are still visible. I almost forgot. I didn't see any birds, at least not down here. But the ancients are definitely watching over us, because up on the peak, up on the mountain, even though I couldn't get a photo of it, I saw a bald eagle. So they're definitely here. Let me take a quick look one more time if I see any birds. No birds at the moment. But this is an ancient landscape. There is a road right here. But this is absolutely an ancient landscape. And, you know, it's good to come here and take a moment to remember that people lived here for thousands of years before us, and we have to respect them. So, yeah. Yeah, no birds. No birds. I feel the presence of the ancients here in this sacred place. So I think we'll leave it there. If you enjoyed this video about the Washoe Indians and the Lake Tahoe area, please like and subscribe. If you know what these petroglyphs mean or have any ideas, leave a comment. And as always, my name is Sean. This is my channel, It's All Good. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.